sales, Mr. Ramanathan, can the sales of $800 million in FY19 now versus $80 million last year, is this the kind of run rate that you can deliver? And also give us how your Q1 number works out on an annualized basis.
First of all, of course, we're not very happy with our results, but it's not gloom and doom all the way. The US first quarter results are not necessarily representative of what we could actually achieve during the course of the full year. And there are reasons why, in fact, the first quarter was quite muted when it comes to America. Firstly, there has been price erosion on the metformin front. The second is because Tamiflu, was impacted because it's not the flu season this quarter. And thirdly, Methagene had actually gone, generic. But we do expect things to turn better during the course of the year, and certainly in the second half. In fact, we take on, there are new products coming in, Renexa, levothyroxine coming in towards the end of the in the second half for sure. And we would also expect secondazole to kind of ramp up over time. We are going by initial expectations. We do believe that secondazole will do very well. For those reasons, we are still optimistic about the turnover from America being in the vicinity of over 800 for sure, much more than what is represented in the first quarter.
Right. Due to weak US sales, gross margins have slipped to 63.9%, lowest in the last 22 quarters. What's the way ahead for gross margins?
Gross margins would improve, but it really depends on, in fact, the kind of realizations that you get from products. And I do believe that, as I was just telling you, there are newer products to come up towards the end of these, in the second half. And there's, of course, the ramp up expected on secondazole. And for those reasons, of course, gross margins would go up. You would also should be aware of the fact that because of China, input prices have increased a bit. And that's had some toll, in fact, in the first quarter itself.
Right. Could you tell us about the R&D spend going forward, and considering the fact that R&D spends for the quarter gone by came in at about 380 odd crore rupees, which is lower than the earlier range of 11 to 13%. What would you say would be the new normal?
It's not as though we have deferred any new, it's just that we are, making the R&D dollar run a longer mile. We do believe that it's going to be around the 10.5%. It's certainly going to be lower than the previous year in terms of percentage to sales. We are working on with the external consultants to increase the productivity of our efforts. And of course, we've also gone for arrangements whereby we are passing on the risk to, in fact, a financial partner whilst sharing the benefits. All of this has helped in actually bringing down the overall R&D expenditure as a percentage of sales to the current levels.
Okay. What's the update then on the resolution of warning letter at Goa as well as Indore, because that's been delayed further as the company is yet to be meeting with the FDA, as we understand?
That's not true at all. In fact, our remedial measures have actually been are fully complete. We have worked with, in fact, the best of consultants to make that happen. We're giving them monthly updates, and we, of course, it's a question of time before they come and inspect the facilities again. And we're fairly confident by the end of this calendar year itself, we would see a resolution of, in fact, the two units.
Can you give us an update on levothyroxine? When is that product likely to be launched? What is the expected opportunity there?
For sure, it is one of the bigger opportunities for this year. And as I was saying, it is certainly going to be in the second half of the current year.
In terms of the rupee, what flip does it get to the margins of the company?
Yeah, currency depreciation is one of those good things which is happening to this industry. For sure, even in the first quarter, there has been some forex benefit that we got. For every rupee depreciation, we do get a benefit of close to about 50 crores.
Right. There are also Solsec expenses. Can you talk about that? Because, it seems that they're quite high, while on the other hand, they can moderate.
Yes, Solsec launch expenses are captured in this first quarter. You would expect that to continue during the course of this year as well, because it's the first year of launch. We do believe that the expectations are that it will do extremely well. The first initial response also has been pretty positive from across the trade, as well as, in fact, the prescribing doctors. So there is, of course, we do believe that it would peak at about $300 million, but clearly there is tremendous potential for this particular product.
Okay. What is the sales guidance that you would set out, and what is the expectation of growth, a degrowth? What is it that you're penciling in for FY19?
At this stage, we are still thinking that it would be, a single-digit growth. So it would be certainly around at least the last year number. So as I said, in the first quarter is certainly an aberration, and things would turn better in the coming quarters.
Right. When do you think FY20 will be a good year for the industry? I mean, do you think that it can happen through any of the quarters of the next year?
There are a lot of green shoots which are quite visible at this stage itself. As I was saying, from our perspective, pricing pressure is certainly easing, and this is just not merely a statement from the manufacturers. If you look at, in fact, the recent statements from, in fact, channel partners, they're also indicating that pricing pressures is certainly easing off. So to that extent, there is a lot of room for optimism. Besides that, of course, from our perspective, there is this ramp up of secnidazole. There is, of course, newer products coming in, the entire inhalations portfolio, starting with, in fact, ProAir next year. And I'm leaving, in fact, levothyroxine and Ranexa because that's going to be a current year thing. So all of this will certainly turn to be a good thing for us. And of course, if we talk about biosimilars, we also have the etanercept opportunity. Rolling forward, we would also have Spiriva to be launched, in fact, and that's going to be a few years from now. So there are a lot of bigger opportunities coming up, and we are still working on, in fact, several other parts of our complex generics portfolio. We're still looking around for good assets on the women's health front. So there is a lot of room for optimism on the specialty front as well.
Ramesh, thanks very much for joining us with those details. We wish you the very best for the future.